You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry about that. Keith Engle here with TGI Sports Talk Sunday Stream of Consciousness. God, there's so much stuff going on in the month for the early May. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff this morning, guys. It's your show, though. So you'll get to drive the ship once I kind of set the stage a little bit. Want to welcome everybody watching this morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're live. We'll be live at 9 o'clock, I guess, on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel. And you'll see the show replayed at midnight tonight if you got to see the first half hour for some reason, you Roku people. The groups that allow me to share, obviously, John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities, Greg Rawlings at Baseball, America's Pastime, the love for baseball. Flo and the gang at Bottom Line Sports. Let's Talk Sports over there. Tanner D and the gang. Thumbs up DDH. You get my thumbs up at that point. You know that who that is. And thumbs up to Mac McGrath as well. Watching our shows. Keep an eye on us. Keeping us straight. We appreciate that. Ken Krause at Golf Bud, Sports of All Sorts. We got some golf news today a little bit. Ralph Williams, want to give him a shout out over at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff. Just moved himself to Ocean City, Maryland, out of Pittsburgh. Whole story about that you can watch his shows and find out about. But he still reports on Pittsburgh sports and stuff across the country, specifically on the Sports Corner, which will be starting back up, or maybe he did, Tuesdays, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern with Smoke and Jim Frazier. Oh, guys, a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown here. Major League Baseball, we got Pete Rose and Joe Jackson back eligible for the Hall of Fame. We'll talk about the repercussions of that, even and how, listen, I think Pete Rose belongs to the Hall of Fame, but even Rob Manfred does, even when he's doing the right thing, he does it the wrong way. 3 managers out this week. Brandon Hyde gets fired by the Orioles. Another team not supporting their field manager with players. Can't fire 25 guys. Can't fire the owner. Twins 13 wins in a row. Kershaw gets a start last night. Ohtani's gearing up to start throwing in the second half. NBA, we got a game 7 today. What's better than game 7s in any sport? Nuggets and OKC tonight. We'll talk about that. Jokic has been amazing. Gordon is doubtful today. Knicks rout the Celtics. Not just beat them, rout them in game 6. Get to the championship, the conference championships for the first time in 25 years. Knicks are really in play for the series, but the Pacers have been a thorn in their side, not just now, but throughout history. There's history. We got the T-Wolves improving, and before our eyes, Julius Randle. How about Julius Randle and the T-Wolves matching up with the Knicks in the finals? Wouldn't that be fun? The Celtics. By the way, things are about to change in Boston. I think Joe Mazzulla is in big trouble. New ownership. He doesn't coach. What else? NHL. We got the Stars have beat the President's Cup. President's Trophy, Winnipeg Jets. They knocked them out in Game 7 yesterday. We got a Game 7 today, and maybe it was Game 6. Sorry, Game 7 with the Leafs trying to overcome their playoff malaise that's been going on for decades. They'll match up today against Florida. Let's see what else we got going on here. Trying to get 2 teams into the conference finals and give Canada a chance to win that first Stanley Cup in the last almost 35 years. NFL, we got news with Purdy signing a huge contract. Are we surprised? Williams' dad, Caleb Williams' dad, talks about how he didn't want the Bears to draft his odd timing, but it's a book that's coming out. He didn't want the Bears to take his son. Can't read my writing on that one, but we'll talk about that. Belichick. Bill Belichick can't get out of the news. He's not getting fired, guys. They're not going to give him $30 million to walk away. But we can talk about him. Beck to start. That one's not important. And by the way, two quick things on other topics. We'll get to your good mornings and your comments on any of this or anything. It's your show. Two other things outside of the major sports we normally talk about. Scotty Scheffler, after a round one little disagreement with the officials, has a 3-shot lead in the PGA Championship going to the final round today. Still can't get used to the PGA being played before the U.S. Open. It's weird. And if you're not a horse racing aficionado, and a lot of people are just casual fans, and when there's no Triple Crown on the line, people don't watch. Well, Kentucky Derby winner did not run yesterday in the Preakness. You missed a great race. It's one of the great races I've ever seen. Journalism and his jockey, who I can not read what I wrote down because I can't say his name. Urabio, what's his name? Hang on one second. Let me give him some love here. I had it in front of me and now I probably lost it. So I'm probably not going to find it real quick. Not important for the moment. It is important because he gave a tremendous ride. Umberto Rispoli, unbelievable ride. I mean, he got him. He tried to get, as they got to the around the final turn, he tried to get outside or to the middle of the track, got pushed back against the rail, was trapped. Somehow makes a move between two horses. I'm a little surprised there wasn't a some kind of inquiry because I don't know. There was a lot of bumping. I mean, he bounced off two horses and made a tremendous run down the stretch to chase down the horse that I bet yesterday, the second place winner, Gosker. He went off at 20-1 yesterday. Journalism was the favorite 8-5. A tremendous horse race. Watch the call. A great call. Just a lot of fun. Anyway, we can talk about that. Anything else you want to talk about? Let's get some stuff out of the way here. Brandon Hyde gets, good morning, JB. Brandon Hyde gets, listen, JB may have been looking for his firing. I don't remember. I remember having some discussion about this on the MLB update a few times. Brandon Hyde, somebody's going to get fired in a situation like this. Too many big expectations, and nobody does them any favors. New ownership, they don't infuse any money. They let their best pitcher walk away to Arizona. And Brandon Hyde takes the beating for it. Brandon Hyde will not be out of baseball long. He'll get a job. He may get a job next year if he wants one. Good morning, all. What did I say? Mid-May? Did I say mid-May? What did I say? Maybe it's hoping it's the end of May. I guess Memorial Day is early this year, so maybe that's why I'm thinking it's later in May. Because next 26, right? That's a little early for Memorial Day. Can't be much earlier than that in any event. But that's when I'll start thinking in baseball that, teams are for real or teams aren't. We'll talk more about that. By the way, the Twins win their 13th in a row yesterday. There's William Akins. Speaking of Pittsburgh, there's William Akins. How are you, buddy? Check out William's shows. Feel free to always, William, when you come in and say hi, you can feel free to put a little plug in for your show. I'll post it for you. I did forget by the way, that's Much Ado About Nothing, by the way. Female version of La Flop. I probably should have put that in my my rundown here. That's a good one, Rick. By the way, Mets and Yankees are playing in all of this. They're tied. This series is tied 1-1. Soto got booed roundly, which is not to be surprised Friday night. DJ LeMahieu back and really looked good yesterday for sure. It's not even so much how he hit the ball and made a great defensive play, but he looks healthier. And again, it's 1 game, 2 games I think he's played. He looks better than he's looked since his first year with the Yankees. But I should have brought this up. It was a little ticky-tack, flagrant. Nobody wanted to talk about it except Angel after the game. And she hit her hard back. You know what? If the WNBA doesn't want this stuff, then guess what? Nobody's going to watch. Nobody's watching anyway. Good one, though. Kayla Clark did she have a triple-double yesterday? WNBA. I think she had a triple-double, if I'm not mistaken. I know she led them to a game-winning triple-double, yeah. Plus a flagrant foul. Sweet. Maybe we'll watch this foul. Let's see what you guys think. Let me see if I can pull it up. Clark. Shit. Excuse my French. Where's Drew's not here to tell me it's not French? Let's see if I can get this quickly, and then we'll move on. Whoops. Sorry, guys. I got to move keyboards around so that I can have some, let's see, videos. See if we can play this video for you quick. Let's see. All right, we'll take a quick look at this. What do you think? You guys want to do that? You guys can weigh in on your opinions. This is a good one. I like this, Rick. All right, now I just got to I got to share it. And here it is. Let's start her up.
Fire spinning. Wanted a whistle, didn't get it.
I can make it bigger. Here.
Rebecca Allen, too strong on a 3. And look out, Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese gets right up into Caitlin.
That looks like a baseball.
Between Reese and Clark and Angel Reese.
Angel Reese, blah, blah, blah.
The arena had to know this foul was coming.
This angle.
Everyone in the arena had to know this foul was coming. As soon as you saw Angel Reese wide open, you knew.
Good call, Rick. Good call. We'll show that again later when we have some more people here. Great job, Rick, calling that one out. JB tonight on his channel, premiere his talk with former Packer Colt coach Bill Curry. What a great this is a great interview. Oh God, JC, if you can get me his contact information. I don't think I've ever asked you for any before, and I'll be happy to share some if I have a few guys that I've interviewed that you'd like to have. I can certainly give you some of their contact information. Bill Curry is a guy that I would love to have on. I love Bill Curry. I loved him as an announcer. He was a good coach. Don't forget, he also coached Alabama. I believe he was one of the guys who coached in between Bear Bryant and Nick Saban. Coached at Kentucky, coached at Georgia Southern. But he was great. I think he used to do games, college games with Mike Golick, actually. Check that out. Good stuff. All you need to know about the O's, Hyde, you're fired. And taking the mound today is Kyle Gibson. He gets rock another. Oh, my God, right? Keep signing 40-year-old pitchers. That works out pretty well. 40-plus years old. Charlie Morton, I think, was in the same somewhere in the 4 years in my four. Okay. He followed me in high school. Pretty sure. Oh. But Hyde, zero support. You let your ace walk away. You did really nothing to improve it. And Santander walk away, who I'm not a huge fan of, but you didn't do really anything to replace either one of those guys. Now the kids aren't hitting. The pitchers aren't pitching. And somebody's got to go. You can't fire the new manager. Or the new owner, rather. Good morning, Paul Spada up in Wisconsin. Boston Paul. I mean, Paul does have some aliases that he'll pop in under. Chris Fgrave does the same thing to us sometimes. She is an actor, I agree. You watch her from the backside, it doesn't look like anything. Even the front side. When I saw this yesterday, real quickly, I think I watched the video first time through and I wasn't paying attention. I thought, oh, that'll generate some heat. But you look at it, it's just a reach-in foul. It's nothing more than a reach-in. It's a foul. So, but she flops to get the flagrant. Great call, Rick. Reese loves to dish it out, but doesn't like it. Boston came to her defense. This was missing last year. 100%. I think you're going to see the Fever, who have, I believe, remade that roster a little bit. Nice win for them over the Sky, I thought, to open the season. This was not a good basketball team last year. But, again, came to her defense, yes, but it's basically a baseball scrum, which isn't much of anything. CA, congratulations to your good morning, and congratulations to your Stars making it to the conference finals to play the Oilers. Maple Leafs, if they win today, and I do think the Maple Leafs win today, by the way, they get that monkey off their back and get at least to the conference championship game. This team has had a very, very disappointing playoff history for decades, basically. And that would give Canada 2 chances to win back a Stanley Cup they have not held in 30 plus years, nearly 35 years, if I remember right. But congratulations to your Stars in knocking out the really good. Listen, the Winnipeg Jets had a great season and a great job by the Stars to knock them out. Burns was going no matter what. His family lives in Arizona. Whatever then. Bring in somebody to replace him. I don't remember hearing them making huge offers to Fried or. Don't excuse ownership there. I don't think you are. I hope you're not, JB, because this team went out on the cheap for decades, basically. They get good, basically, with homegrown players, but then you don't bring in the top talent. You did bring in Burns last year to get over the top. You had a disappointing playoff season. So by the way, you could have blown them away with money. I said during the offseason, you got new ownership. You got new money. Blow away Soto with an offer. He probably wouldn't come. But they don't even get themselves engaged with these guys. Now, new ownership. Maybe they don't care about winning. We'll clean house and we'll start over. Pretty silly when you had a team, I think, on the cusp, a couple players away. Now, the kids aren't hitting as well as we'd like. Jackson Holiday is improving. Gunner's starting to get his swing back after missing most of the spring. You need to improve that outfield. You need Westberg back. You need Rauschman to play better. But you need some outfielders. This team needs some players. The manager was not the problem here. The manager was not the problem. When you're 15-27, that's not the manager. Unless you're going to tell me they lost, 25 one-run games. You got one of the better bullpens in baseball, and you can't even get to them. Soto. But by the way, the Yankees are better off, and maybe the next 8 years proves me wrong. Over time, the Yankees will be better off letting Soto walk and having Max Fried in that rotation. If Max Fried stays relatively healthy over that 8 years, that will do the Yankees better than Juan Soto's bat, which is all he brings to your team. Soto brings nothing else except a tremendous bat, and it's a great one. Don't get me wrong, but at best, he's the third best hitter in baseball. And And the first best hitter in baseball also brings Gold Glove defense to the field, which Soto doesn't. Tremendous throwing arm. Soto's arm's okay, but he butchers plays in right field. He doesn't get good jumps. He's a horrendous base runner. He doesn't hustle. And this is not sour grapes, by the way. I said this when he is on his way into town. You can look up the tapes. Guys are letting me down in comments early today. Looks like we'll have the Roku audience join us at 9 a.m. We'll see how that goes. I think it'll start up on its own. We'll find out. But there's lots of, look at guys, there's lots to talk about besides Angel Reese and the Orioles. And by the way, 3 managers fired in a week. All of them got awful support from their ownership. All of them. Bud Black's the luckiest guy in baseball. Brandon Hyde will get a job when he wants one. Not this year. Stranger things have happened. And Shelton, by the way, the Pittsburgh, same thing. They're putting their revenue sharing money in their pocket, not improving their team. But he relied way too much on analytics. And maybe there's a silver lining to his firing and the fact that maybe teams will start to move away from analytics a little bit. I'm not saying there's not some use for analytics, but the overuse of them is what has me turned off so badly to analytics. Just stop. Pete Rose, as you know, Manfred removed from the permanently, by the way, ineligible list, including and also Joe Jackson, the rest of the Black Sox players. This will probably only affect Pete Rose and Joe Jackson, who I would fully expect to be on the committee's players to consider in 27. So there's several hurdles here for Pete Rose to clear. Kenny had put in the chat yesterday, the TGI Sports Talk chat, and if you want to join the chat, just send me a private message and I'll certainly get you in there. We've had great additions with Danny and Paul and Chris. Certainly willing to add anybody as long as they bring entertaining and relevant comments there. But Kenny made a comment yesterday about because Rick had put up a picture of his Pete Rose autograph ball with the number of hits on it, and Kenny made a comment that it's worth more now. Probably is worth more now because people will speculate. Like if Rick wanted to sell this ball now, somebody's going to speculate. And again, who knows what? I don't know what Rick paid. I'm not asking him to say. I'm just going to, let's just say he paid, I don't know, $50 for the autograph. Well, it's probably not even worth $50. Well, maybe it's worth $50. Rick, I don't know what you've had it appraised before this. It's probably barely worth the money that was paid, whatever it was. But it definitely went up yesterday because if he wanted to sell it, then there will be speculators that will buy it. Because this is the whole business, right? I'm getting memorabilia. I'm keeping it. I've got signed helmets. I've got signed baseballs, footballs. Dan Harris, before he passed away, God rest his soul, sent me an autographed football that was autographed by Gronk, Tom Brady, and Julius Edelman. I'm not selling those. I got an autographed helmet from one of the Patriot offensive linemen during their first Super Bowl run, Max Lane. Actually, Max Lane played before the Super Bowl run. He played in the 90s. So he was on the team that went to the Super Bowl. But still, and I'm not saying Max Lane's is worth any money, but I would not be selling these things. I don't know how this turned into such a multi-billion-dollar industry. Sorry, I'm off track a little bit. Pete Rose's baseball, though, I don't think he's getting in the first time. There's hurdles. First, he's got to go through a selection process to get on there. They only consider, I don't know, I want to say, they consider a bunch of names, right? But they only will put maybe 6 or 7 into consideration into a vote. And then you got to get 12 out of 16 votes because they got to go to the classic era vote because, and I think Joe Jackson and Pete Rose get on that first ballot, if you will. They can't go to the writers because their time to be on that ballot has expired. But if he gets in, all of a sudden that's worth a lot more money for sure. So anyway, hang on to it, Rick. To me, it would be a treasured thing to have. And I think Pete Rose, listen, I've said for a while, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I said that since the day this show started. I said the same thing about the steroid guys. But I think what Rob Manfred did and the way he did it, first of all, baseball is very vindictive to do this to again, well, they did it to Joe Jackson long before they did it to Pete Rose. But Pete Rose is all over the Hall of Fame. People think, well, Pete Rose can't have anything in the Hall of Fame. 2 things. He's all over the Hall of Fame right now, except he doesn't have a plaque. And I always said, give him a plaque and put on everything he did, including he bet on baseball and was permanently suspended. I'll get to that in a second. Second of all, they're having parties for him in Cincinnati, and people are talking like he got inducted to the Hall of Fame this week. He did not. He's merely eligible to be considered for the Hall of Fame. It's quite possible these guys, and some of these guys take a very hard line. The Johnny Benches of the world, if Johnny Bench should find himself on this committee, because usually it'll be 6 Hall of Famers and maybe 6 writers and they'd be Hall of Famers that played in the same era as the player we're talking about. That's going to be tough for Joe Jackson, obviously. I would totally expect Johnny Bench to be on his committee in 2 years. I don't speculating, but Johnny Bench is a loud voice to keeping Pete Rose out of the Hall of Fame. So I think he's got a hurdle to clear just to get in. But I think they both should get in myself. Joe Jackson as well. And as far as Rob Manfred goes, he did the right thing for the wrong reason. They're all dead. His reasoning was, oh, they're all dead, so let's stop punishing them. Pete Rose and Joe Jackson did not get lifetime bans. They got permanent bans. Permanent bans don't run out when your lifetime runs out. Now, again, I wanted them off the permanent ban list, but come up with better reasoning than they're dead. And stop referring to it as a lifetime ban. It's not. At least Pete Rose's, I can tell you, in the wording of Bart Giamatti's ruling, it says permanently banned from baseball. Not lifetime, permanently. And Pete could have got it. Pete just never got it, man. If he didn't make himself so visible and tweaking his nose at baseball and the Hall of Fame, which are 2 different things, by the way, 2 different organizations that really have nothing to do with each other. But he'd tweak his nose at them. He'd interview with commissioners and not be contrite. Yeah, he admitted he betted on baseball, but, did he ever really say he was sorry? Did he ever really admit that he sent signals when he thought they were going to lose? That the way he managed games when he had money on a game would affect later games? And the Reds' ultimate ability to win championships? Very interesting. This team basically won a year later. Was it a year later after his run? Yeah, about a year later, I think they won their championship with Lou Piniella. Makes you wonder. But anyway, in any event, he should be in. What do we got going on here? We got a few more comments. I heard the fourth president talk to Manfred about reinstating I guess you just mean the president. I guess that's supposed to be an E. About reinstating Rose. All of a sudden, he's eligible. I don't think Donald Trump had anything to do with Pete Rose getting the Hall of Fame. First of all, he's not in the Hall of Fame. Reinstating him, yes, you're right. Maybe it did. Rob Manfred's an idiot, by the way. I'm just saying. And good. I'm glad Trump was backing Rose because not enough people are. He did something wrong, but these leagues are all ingrained with gambling sites and they're so hypocritical. Everywhere you turn, every single game you watch, you're inundated with sports betting stuff. But you got this sign here, and when you walk in the clubhouse, no gambling. I'm not saying players should be betting on baseball. That's not what I'm talking about. Ridiculous. Rick's a collector, not a seller. I don't have the collection of Drew's neighbor, but oh, geez. A lot of Yankee memorabilia. Basically, he's got a museum. Drew Ehrlich, who obviously is a major participant here on the show, but he's away. His neighbor has basically a museum in his basement with mostly Yankee memorabilia, but there were some other things there. I don't have a lot either, Rick, because I'm not a big collector guy. I get a baseball, I'm going to hit it. You know, I'm like the kids in Sandlot. I'm playing with a Babe Ruth signed baseball. That's me. Jeremy's with us. How are you, my friend? That's the other thing, by the way. We got the NFL schedule's out. And Jeremy, you're welcome to talk about the Lions today. I think, and Jeremy, I know you're a Lions fan. I think this team's window's closing. I think this is a very important year for the Lions. The division's getting better. It's quite possible the NFC North will be the best division in football this year, in my mind. If I'm really curious about what you think about the schedule, your draft, so you can certainly add any comments you want there. Jeremy, as you know, is a big Lions fan, does his own podcast, knee biting something or other. Put a little plug up for yourself, Jeremy. Good stuff. Actually, Joe, actually, most of these guys didn't get paid. This is one of the things that happened here is, and they were all found innocent in a court of law, but Judge Landis suspended them anyway because there was a conspiracy. Joe couldn't read or write. They put stuff, I think the gamblers put stuff in front of Joe. He didn't know what the hell it was. He did hit like 417. He hit really well in a series. This was a 9-game series, by the way. And, you know, they were throwing games early, and then Arnold Rothstein really didn't pay them what he said he would pay. And the players decided, screw him, now we're going to win. And it was never proven that really any of them took money, I don't think. But Joe Jackson for sure. And look, it was a scandal. They obviously were going to throw the series until they didn't get paid. Good morning, Danny. Danny commenting last night on Kershaw's debut. We talked about it Friday. I'm trying to get to the box score here. Hang on. Oop, that's the Knicks. Go Knicks! I'm excited. You know, we don't talk a lot of basketball on this show, but I'm excited. 25 years since I've been able to root for my Knicks, and it's not a bad team to watch. It's fun. I know Rick doesn't think so, probably. I've tried to win them over. There's nights where it's rough. There's nights where Brunson turns into Carmelo Anthony, but I wanted to look at the box score from yesterday. Where's yesterday's box score? This has got to be it. Played the Angels. What'd Kershaw do yesterday? How come I can't get a box score? What's the deal here? Can't I just get a box score? There it is. Clayton Kershaw. I know he threw 35 pitches in the first inning. He threw 83 pitches. Well, surprised they let him go that far. 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. But the fact that he's out there throwing is big news, because who thought? I mean, I said early in the season that this team seemed to have 2 full starting rotations, and now they barely got 1. And what's Ohtani going to do? Ohtani is now ramping up his throwing again a little bit with the thought that he'll pitch in the second half. Still don't know how they're going to do him. Danny, what's the word out there on Ohtani and what they'll do with him pitching-wise? My guess is he would pitch out of the bullpen to strengthen his arm a little bit, and they might lengthen him out depending on their starting rotation situation. I mean, he's always been a starter, so I would think that would be their ultimate goal, but I'm not really sure. And I did figure out you meant the president. I do. You know, we are kind of like backwards up here in upstate New York, Paul, but we do know who the president is. I kid you. Jeremy says some ads with football. Oh, same ads with football, hockey, basketball. Agreed. I didn't mean baseball. I meant everything. I see them during college games. It's hilarious how they put this up and they want to give you free money and to register. And I always take advantage of those, by the way. I had we all know about the $300 bet I had on Notre Dame to win the national championships last year, which would have cleared almost $8,000. But it only cost me $100 because I got free money from other sites that I usually use. I usually use DraftKings, and I don't use it much. Football season. Where was I going with this? Oh, it's they run their ads, whatever it is, they run their ads and they have the disclaimer at the end. You know, if you have a gambling problem, I just gave you a bunch of free money to bet. Listen, I've known a lot of guys, and there were times in my life when I was younger, I probably wagered way too much money. Way too much money. Now it's for fun. Basically, fun money. But I've known guys with gambling problems, man, and they would do anything to get money. I knew a guy who would buy new trucks because he'd want to get the $2,500 cash rebate they would give out. He tried to trade in a truck he bought 6 months ago and get the $2,500 rebate on a new one. I don't think they do cash rebates anymore. This is what he would do. Good morning, Sonia. How are you? And welcome to everybody on Roku. I would say we're probably live now on Roku at 9. Once the Sunday sports show ends on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel. So welcome to everybody now on Roku. Good to see you. Sorry about my huge head. I don't understand. I can't seem to fix the screen size. I mean, I think on Facebook and YouTube, you guys can tell me. I don't think, I can't adjust. Maybe it's just where I'm sitting. In the old days, before I moved, my computer was a little bit further away from me. And I can't really seem to get that look now. So that might be part of the problem, but whatever. We're there. We're live. Welcome to that audience. And good morning to Sonia, who's done a great job filling in for Mac. While he was sick and since he has sadly passed, Sonia's done a great job hosting all the shows that Mac hosted. Great job. And picked up a lot of stuff. I'd rather he didn't. Who are we talking about? Who? Trump? I'm not sure who we're talking about. Just another thing for people to bash him about. You think this is a 5-loss season? So that's a 12-5. That's still playoff worthy, obviously. Does that win the division, Jeremy? I think you've got 4 teams there that can win 10-plus games, 11-plus games, maybe. It's possible. All the wild cards, and we'll get into this as we go through this summer. It's a little early for major predictions. And I'll get you up to speed on my Patriots as well. Right now, 9 games might be a reach. But as far as the North goes, I think you've got 4 teams there that are capable of winning the division, and the other 3 all capable of making wild cards. You can have all 3 wild cards out of the North. I really believe that. And by the way, while we're on that topic, the NFL is going to be talking about reseeding the second round of the playoffs. I'm not in favor of it. I'm really not. I don't like taking away the integrity of winning divisions. I don't care. I mean, I understand some teams are going to get screwed. They're going to go on the road with 12 wins and play somebody with 10 or 9. That's just the way it goes. But the North, I think you got 4 teams that are capable of winning that division. Up to 7. Well, here's that's the flip side, right? They beat each other up. And you don't get 3 wild cards. But if they all win outside the division, they should be fine. Kneecap, thank you. Kneecap biting with the Motor City Lions. We got 2 Lion fans we got to deal with now. Not have to. Don't take that the wrong way, Jeremy. We got 2 Lion fans we deal with now in Bistrilla on National Streaming Sports, and then Jeremy when he pops in here. But check out Jeremy's stuff. Does some really good stuff. Good to have you back in the flow here. Danny Fuller, Jeremy, your Lions will be just fine if they stay healthy. Best in the division by 3 games. Bears and this sounds like Caleb hate, actually. By the way, Danny. Just want to say, Bears might be my Giants this year. Did you see Caleb Williams run for his life? I know he made some bad decisions, but when you're running for your life, you make some bad decisions. His numbers aren't that much worse than Jalen Daniels outside of wins and losses, and Jalen Daniels had a better offensive line and better skill players around him. He had a better defense. Which matters, by the way. That defense went in the crapper once they fired Eberflus, which they should have. But the defense was horrendous. If they've improved that defense and that offensive line, this team will possibly contend. I'm not saying they will. There's 3 good teams ahead of them still. But if the Lions win this by 3 games, I'll be shocked. Because they're going to have to win 15 games to have any shot of winning by 3 games. Just saying. Sounds like Danny, I think, is on the push keys button this morning. I still got to get with you on Rick's Itch Trophy. Danny making a push for it here today. Go Pacers. By the way, the Knicks are by no means shoo-ins to get to the finals. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the Wolves get – that's going to be funny. I like the Nuggets today to win on the road. I just do. I don't know why. Jokic is just the most amazing fat guy I've ever seen. But part of me wants to see the Knicks and Wolves in the finals so we can see them go up against their old teammate, Julius Randle, who's playing – typical Julius Randle basketball, except he's playing well in the playoffs. He's averaging 23 and 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And Anthony Edwards is growing up before our eyes. Now back to the Pacers. Pacers have been kryptonite to the Knicks. They lost to them in the playoffs last year. We look back through, I'd say recent history, but I guess 30 years ago isn't recent history anymore. The Pacers and Knicks had some great series. We all remember that Patrick Ewing finger roll that rolled out of the basket and eliminated the Knicks in, I don't know, 97. I'm not sure what year it was. So Danny is now, so the Celtics, you were a Knicks fan against the Celtics, but now you're a Pacer fan against the Knicks. By the way, Pacers are an underrated team. Rick Carlisle's got to be one of the most underrated coaches in basketball. why Joe Maluza might be the most overrated, because Joe Maluza doesn't coach. Jack brought up this morning, well, he made a great move in Game 5, bringing in Horford for whoever. Well, substitution, there's more to coaching than substitutions. He makes no in-game strategic adjustments, or unless you consider where we throw up three-pointers from, adjustments. This is going to be a fun series. Knicks stay healthy. By the way, Knicks would have won last year if Obi hadn't not gotten hurt. Knicks would win that series. That's, again, just conjecture, and you can shoot that down because I don't have any evidence other than my gut feeling. CA's never been one to count my chickens before they're hatched kind of guy. Me either. At least not regard to sports. But actually, I don't think I would do it in life either. But sports might be a safer place to do it. JP. Now that the Stars have somehow gotten all their team back, nothing less but drinking milk. So am I reading you right that you're saying anything less than a Stanley Cup here is a disappointing season for the Stars now? And it's funny how the Knicks, and I think this, I don't think there's any way for the Knicks to have a disappointing season, by the way, right now. I think they made it to the finals, unless they go out here and get blown out 4 games or something. But it's funny how expectations change. At the beginning of playoffs, the only danger the Knicks had, and Thibodeau's not getting fired. There was a lot of talk about him getting fired late in the season. They've not been in trouble. If he lost in the first round. Well, now we're playing with house money. And don't give me any crap. They wouldn't have beat the Celtics if Tatum stayed healthy. While Tatum was healthy, they turned a 11-point deficit into a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter in Game 4. So don't give me this crap that if Tatum was healthy, Celtics would be celebrating right now. Or we'd have a Game 7. It's possible, but Knicks played pretty well with Tatum on the floor. Will be a success. Nothing less than, okay, so you're saying that it's anything less than a Stanley Cup now, disappointing season for the Stars. I guess, as a Knicks fan, quite frankly, if I don't get to the finals now, I'm going to feel like it's a disappointment. I feel this team should get by the Pacers. Well coached, better coached than the Celtics, I can tell you that. It's going to be fun, and some good players, some good young players. Tigers are playing great. Baez, Baez, they want to get out of center field, I know, and back into the infield. They got a couple of kids I know to play center field that may be coming up. You probably know them better than I do, Jeremy. I was reading about them the other day. I don't have their names on the top of my mind, but I was reading about some of the teams and kind of if they could have one thing. And for the Tigers, it was a center fielder. He's done okay out there. It's funny. I noticed this year. I mean, Baez was not worth the money up until now. Well overpaid, which we haven't even gotten into Brock Purdy. Speaking of, and again, to me, guys are worth whatever somebody wants to pay him. Earning is a different story. So up now, he's earning his money. Ohtani will pitch at the earliest in July after the All-Star break. Well, it's the second half to me, even though I know they played more than half the season. And will be a starter. That's the word out there. I think he should be a starter. I think there's more danger to him because being on a consistent, and you can comment here. Anybody can comment. You can, Danny, especially. When you've had arm troubles, I think it's easier when you know when you're going to pitch. And they're probably not going to throw more than 5 innings a game anyway. And when you're in the bullpen, you don't know from game to game when you're going to pitch. So I think having on a regimented schedule that a starter would be on would be beneficial for Ohtani. Maybe it'll depend on what their rotation looks like then, though. I don't know. I mean, we don't know. It sounds like Snell's injury is more serious than we thought. Don't know about Glasnow yet. So it's very interesting how things again. And look, this team's going to win no matter what happens with the pitching staff. I still think they're going to win 110 games. I didn't say this. Now again, I'm sorry. Paul probably considered himself a guy from Boston, but who lives in Wisconsin. It reminds me of a great Star Trek line. There's no Trekkers out there probably, so I won't say it. Rich Sherlock talking. Paul, you're getting ganged up on now, buddy. Fight back. Fight back. Chicago. I have to see them get more than 7 to 9 wins. Well, again, this is why we played a season, right? I know Danny likes to pick on me for my Giants pick last year, but I'm always looking for a dark horse. Anybody could just pick chalk, right? I'd have been better off picking the Redskins, obviously, but I might pick the Giants again. No, I'm not picking the Giants again this year. You watch. Giant fans, you're going to be lucky. I won't be picking them this year. There you go. Yes, I was just kind of getting to that myself. Thank you, Danny. I called myself out before you could. All right, and now I'm picking a line. Actually, I'm going to pick the Lions. I'm going to pick the Redskins to win 17 games. Danny. No, 16. They'll sit their starters in week 17. If I have that much power, I think just as a little, little itch on my own to Danny, I'm going to pick the Redskins to win 16 games and lose 1. But you can count on them now winning 6 games next year. You are right, Danny. I did pick the Giants. And again, I just explained why. I like to look for somebody who will surprise. And I thought that Daniel Jones would step up. And I thought that Neighbors would be an impact player from the get-go, not from midseason on. He is an impact player. He's going to be a great player in this league. Right now, I don't think their quarterback play is going to be any better than it was last year, though. So I can't get excited about the Giants this year. I might get excited about the Bears. I don't think you can deny the Bears had a great offseason. And the Bears may not make the playoffs, but I think the Bears will win 9 games next year, at least. It used to be by record for seeding. It never was by record for seeding. At first, it is it's always been by division. The only year they did not use records was the strike year, like 82, where they took in extra teams and seeded them 1 through 12 or whatever it was. But every year that I've been alive, in fact, even before that, when there was only 2 divisions or whatever, 4 divisions, whatever it was, in the 60s. And when you say used to, I don't know, you might be talking about the 30s, Jeremy. I don't know. But in my lifetime, and I'm 65 years old, division winners always took precedent over record. If you're a wild card. So if you had a 12-win wild card and a 9-win or 8-win, and we've seen 7-win division teams, that wild card would go to the division winner. It's always been that way. Now, when you get to division winners and maybe there's no wild cards left, then record is the determining factor, obviously. Beast Drill is a good friend. He's a good guy. I like him. I've only met him a few months now as he started to appear on the on some of the national streaming sports shows when Mac had taken ill this latest time, and I enjoy his take on on things. We think in similar ways. So he's a good egg. I love the name of the show too. It's one of my favorite show names. Beat you did beat. You had it in there, you know. You did beat me because you had it in the comments before I could get to it. But listen, one thing you guys know about me, I don't make excuses. That was a bad pick. And I think I was telling you it was a bad pick from about week 5 last year. I didn't sit here saying they'd rebound. They were a bad football team, and it was obvious from the get-go. So we won't make that mistake again, but I guarantee I'll make a mistake somewhere else. And I'll always look for somebody to surprise because I don't want to just go with chalk. It's easy to go, oh, look what everybody's picking. I might surprise you with my Patriots this year. That might be my team, but I'm not ready to go. And I do say my Patriots. Yes. I say we, I say us. I know some people have a problem with that. I don't, because again, I feel having been a season ticket holder for nearly 10 years and invested that money, the tens of thousands of dollars, it seems like I've invested in road trips and wearables, and I feel I'm entitled to say yes, us rather. We. But again, I don't know yet. I have to, like, the schedule's out. Everybody's predicting records. I can't do that just yet. I don't even know about the Bears, right? I think right now, with very little to go on, you have to. And Jack talked about the fact that it's not fair to even try to do it before the season. Well, that's part of the deal of procrastinating, prognosticating is the fact that you have to take a look at the schedule and pick a record. That's part of the fun. I mean, yeah, you don't know what the teams you play are going to do, whether they're going to be bad or good. He had mentioned the Redskins, like nobody thought they'd be as good as they were, and you would have counted it as a win. Well, yeah, but if your quarterback gets hurt, that makes a big difference too. So it's fun. Now, I didn't have any excuses to use for the Giants. They just sucked. Go look at the latest Esquire cover photo. Seriously? Oh God, let me look. Esquire. Are you serious? Do I need to do this, or am I doing this for something stupid? Cover photo. All right, let's see what we got. It's got to be Belichick, I'm guessing. I don't know. News. I'm not getting October. Well, I'm on 2024. I guess I need more information in here. What is it? May or June? Maybe I just put latest. The things I don't do for you guys. Is that? No, that's got to be from what date? Oh, that's from before. That's a picture of Trump, but that's not from this. I don't think that's this month. Yeah, I can't find it. Why don't you make a copy, put it in the comments. I'll try to share it. Or put it in the, by the way, I never looked. See, put it in our TGI Sports Talk chat and I'll try to share it. I can't seem to find it right now. So, and I don't want to spend too much time looking for it. I also haven't seen Oprah live on Facebook. I didn't check. Sometimes if I don't stop sharing fast enough, let me know if you post it there, Danny. Let me know just so I can. By the way, we had a nice day yesterday. We took a ride and we avoided rain, but we took a ride to my stepson and his fiance's wedding venue yesterday out in Holyoke, Massachusetts, and met her family, and we had a nice lunch with them. So when we didn't get any rain all the way until we got home. Beautiful venue. I do not remember the name of the place. The Log Cabin. That sounds not wrong. It's a beautiful venue. They're gonna if they can be outside, hopefully they can. Beautiful view of the Berkshires behind them. It's a great venue, very rustic, really kind of cool. So anyway, if you share that to the TGI Sports Talk page, let me know so I can. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing something wrong here. You reboot this. All right, there we are. We're live, so that's good. That's all I wanted to see. Where were we? Oh, wait a minute, Jeremy. Sorry, James. I'll come back to you. Vikings and Bears still had a top 10 defense, just not by scoring defense. And that's but that's the important part, isn't it? Patriots for years when they were winning were never in the top 10 in yardage, but they were in scoring. That's what matters. I mean, am I wrong, Jeremy? Isn't that the part that matters most? I can give up 1,000 yards a game if I only give up 20 points. That's just me. And having watched a lot of bended but don't break defenses. James Martin from National Streaming Sports. One of our favorites. We love James. We get his Saints this year. We get the whole we play so of the panel today of the National Streaming Sports guys that I sit on roundtables with. We've got Sonia's Panthers, we got James Saints, we got the Jets twice, obviously, for Jack. I don't think we don't get Bistrilla's Lions, and I don't believe we get Seattle for Bo. Who am I missing? I feel like I'm missing somebody that is a big part of the roundtable shows. Oh, I didn't know you put up your comment, Ray. I think Randall's motivated for sure. He looks like the Cat Randall trade paid off for both teams. I agree. I'm a big Randall fan. They went as far as they could go with Randall. They needed that presence, I think, in the middle. Cat's played well. Towns has played well, but a bit inconsistent. I need him to be more consistent, especially this time of year, and especially in the series coming up against the Pacers. He can't disappear. They had a lot of injuries last year, and injuries are not an excuse. I said that earlier. Everybody gets injuries this time of year. You got to find another guy to step up. The next bench is really short this year, especially compared to last year, where they nearly escaped. They're not escaping these injuries this year or bad performances by by Towns or Brunson. Brunson, who's played big at big times in the Celtics series, didn't always play great. Needs to be more consistent. Everybody needs to be more consistent to beat this Pacers team, I think. But a great call on Randall. I think it is a good trade for both teams, and you don't often see that. I think Randall's been and he didn't have to be the main guy, and he wasn't the main guy when he left the Knicks, quite frankly, since he got hurt. But he seems recovered. He's doing Julius Randle things and doesn't have to be the guy. Edwards has just stepped up, and I think you're seeing Edwards grow up as these playoffs go on. Jeremy says, despite all the injuries, how far behind am I? I like to know how far behind I am. Where's my timestamp on Jeremy's? 9:16. Not too bad. We're falling a little behind. Despite all the injuries, Lions somehow had the number one scoring defense. Oh, scoring defense. All right. I thought you said not scoring before. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, I see. Giants and Bears, or Vikings and Bears. I thought you said Lions. Despite all the injuries, Lions somehow had the number one scoring defense last year with 5 starters on the IR. And defense, they did have a very good defense. Unfortunately, it didn't show up in the playoffs, where it's most important. But injuries are something that every team's got, and that's a place where teams and these outrageous quarterback salaries and wide receiver salaries are having a huge effect because teams don't have depth in the trenches specifically. You get offensive or defensive linemen hurt. You don't have talent to step in there. Most teams, because you spent your cap on guys. Not that they're not important, but you're not able to have a next man up mentality where guys can step up and play reasonably as or nearly as well, even as the guy they're replacing. So, I see it all over the league. But I agree, good defense. James is pulling for the next all the way. Shout out to Mac and Keith. Thank you. God rest in peace, Mac. And I mean, no disrespect. Wish you were still here. I think Sonia, if I pass away, I think Sonia would root for my team. Thank you, Mac. Or what's your name? James. The J Train. One of my favorite people I've met in the last, I don't know, how long's it been, James? Since you started coming on the shows. It's over a year, right? Is it 2 years? I don't think it was before we moved into our new townhouse here. I think it was where we were still in our old house. So I don't remember if it was maybe the fall of 23 or maybe it was a year. I don't really know. Time is a big problem for me. I have a lot of trouble with time. Ugh. Jeremy, if the Knicks win, I'll root for them the rest of the way for the first time in my life. Wait a minute. Well, there's only. So you're going to root for them in one series. So you're rooting for the Pacers? Is that what I take away from this? Never rooted for the Knicks. I take it you're a Pistons fan. That was an interesting series. Every one of those games, if I remember right, were pretty much nail biters. Your team's on to come. I'll tell you right now, Jeremy, that team's on to come. What's a 23-point deficit? I don't have any context there. Give me some. Maybe I asked for it. I don't remember. Well, I'm looking at Jeremy's comments. I wish I could sort by comments. Oh, Jeremy said, look at the latest Esquire magazine. I don't know. I thought that was Danny. I don't know why. Anyway, Jeremy, if you want to send me that picture, I'll be glad to put it up. CA. So give me some context on that 23-point deficit thing because I'm losing my mind. Knicks had 20-point deficits or large deficits in 2 or 3 games. They had a 23-point swing in one of those games, very short period of time. At least that's what I was talking about with Tatum. It was from 11 down to 7 up in about 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. Tatum on the floor the whole time. CA, well, Keith, if he wrote a check for the rest of it, and it was a good... Where are we? If he wrote a check for the rest of it, and it was a selection of a few motor vehicles, then it could have been a good investment depending on how he chose to use it. I feel like I had a stroke here in the middle of the show. What is that about? Am I making comments that I don't remember making? I'm not sure what we're talking about. If he wrote a check for the rest of it and it was a good selection of a few motor vehicles, then it could have been a good investment depending on how he chose to use it. Oh, are we talking about one of the, I don't know what we're talking about. Are we talking about maybe one of the owners that I said pockets their revenue sharing money? AC's with us. He's on fire. Good to have you with us, AC, as always. My dark horses this year. Patriots, attaboy. Atta boy. I love me some Jeremy Bellrick. I can tell you that. Bellreich. I'm sorry. Ballreich. I got to say the name wrong twice before I can get it right. Sorry, Jeremy. And the Panthers. Well, Sonia's going to love you. All winter, I've been hearing, if we play you, we're coming for you. Love you, Sonia, but we're taking you out. It's the only prediction I have in May is we'll beat the Panthers and the Giants. We got the Giants this year as well. Got to give out a shout out to Caitlin Clark and the Fever. We talked about this earlier. AB and CC looked unstoppable yesterday. They played great. They remade this roster a bit. We were talking about it, and we talked about the phantom flagrant foul, which to me looked like a reach in and nothing more. Definitely a foul. A flagrant, nice flop. Rick compared her to the female LeBron. I'm sorry to use his word, LaFlop. Divisions didn't exist until 1945. All right. Well, I was born in 1960. Oh, thank you, Jerry. Well, that's true. I think they had like two conferences, right, that played against each other. And you could do that. Here's the thing. I'm a division guy. I mean, there's been talk about eliminating divisions and playing AFC in just a one conference. I don't like it. I like the integrity of division play. Whatever sport we're talking about. Basketball's basically blown that up. You don't have a lot of what am I trying to say? Advantage to winning your division. Yeah, you're probably going to have one of the best records in basketball if you do it. Baseball, I think they've kept the integrity of, even though we don't need 10 wild cards. I don't think we need as many as we have in football either, quite frankly. I still like the integrity of division play. So thank you, though, for educating me there, because I didn't, again, I think I said I couldn't go back that far. Because that is like, not that I don't think it matters, because I am a big history buff when it comes to everything, sports, real life, politics. I love all my history. That's what I watch when I'm just channel surfing, as I find documentaries to watch about whatever. But that was 80 years ago. I can't remember that. Good call, though, Jeremy. You got me, and I'm wrong. Yay. Still don't know what you're talking about with the cars. AC, good morning. I see spitting in the blah, 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 blah. AC ought to be getting himself in the TGI Sports Talk chat. We should add you if you want to be in there. You too, Jeremy. There's Chris F. Grave I see coming up. Hold on. Going to give some pony talk. I beat him to it today, though. I see splitting the divisions and at least losses to the Ravens and the Eagles for your Lions. Well, that'd be good. Because that'd give you your 5 losses, right? I'd have to go through. What did I say? Did I not say Caleb Williams? What did I say? Did I say Venus? Did I say Venus Williams by mistake? What'd you send? Where'd you send it to, buddy? Let's see. Did you send it to this one? You got to see where. No, I think I got to get to mine. Yeah, how do I get? I hate this. Facebook ticks me off. I just can't get around the way I want to. Hang on, I got to see what this Esquire photo is. Oh, here we go. Hold on. think we're getting there. I think we're making our way there. Let me get rid of some of this other stuff. Don't need that. Don't need that. There's Jeremy. Oh, Caleb. Oh, that's what you're saying. It was Caleb Williams on the cover. All right. We'll give you this. What is this all about? What am I supposed to take away from this? Hold on. I'll give you guys the cover that Jeremy's talking about. Share screen, Facebook. Here's the cover. I don't think I can blow that up anymore, can I? No, I guess not. So it's Caleb Williams on the cover. What is the Caleb Williams? What's it say? The making of a next generation quarterback. Does Esquire have a that's Rich. Does Esquire have a jinx like Sports Illustrated and Madden? Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Did I miss Chris F. Gray's first thing here? Did I jump over your thing, Chris? I thought I saw another comment about Pony. Here we go. Pony Talk. And welcome, Chris. Good to have you up in Ontario. I have to tell you, but you don't have to talk of what I thought about. Horse racing season is back. It's been back here in the States since the Derby. Kawartha Downs season opens today. Is that up in Ottawa? Ontario? Where is that? We did have a great Preakness race here yesterday. Not a lot of focus on it, I think, because there was no Triple Crown at stake. The Derby winners stayed away, focusing on the Belmont, which will be here, right here, up the road from me, 15 minutes in Saratoga, New York. Next 2 weeks from yesterday, I believe. It's a lot of fun. Don't go to Saratoga. It will be crazy that weekend. What was I going to say? But what a tremendous race by journalism yesterday. And his jockey just totally in jail on the rail. And he makes just a tremendous, scary move between horses, just bounced off both of them. A little surprised there wasn't some kind of inquiry there. If not against journalism, then one of the other horses. I think they just let him race. It was a very ballsy move, and he ends up winning the race and beating at not just that, but chasing down. He was good 7-8 lengths behind, maybe 9, chasing down the front runner, the horse I bet, at the wire. Just a tremendous race. If you want to listen to a great horse race call, I'm not sure who the caller is for these races anymore. The guys that I grew up with, and even Dave Johnson, who was a tremendous caller, was not there. But Gosker's the horse that he ran down. I bet Gosker yesterday. Yeah, we got it. Oh, I was already on that. And Chris has got a couple happy birthdays. Reggie's birthday today, 79. Reggie's 79. Yikes. I got to tell you, speaking of Reggie, I mean, to have his number retired in Yankee Stadium to me is blasphemous. He played 5 seasons here, and he played well most of the time. They won 2 world championships, went to another World Series. But when I got guys that don't have their numbers out there, when I got guys who spent their entire careers here, well, not entire careers in some of the cases, Roy White is on the leaderboard of many of the Yankee all-time lists. Played his entire career here, was part of those 2 championship teams in the 70s, and was a main part of this team with my guy, Bobby Mercer, before George got here, even after George got here. Never got a dinner. Doesn't get his number retired. We retire everybody's number now. And Reggie was great, but he played here 5 years. He didn't play 20 years here. Reggie's a great player. I loved having Reggie around. If you haven't read The Bronx is Burning, and you can watch ESPN did a mini series on it, and it was okay. And the acting was kind of stiff and whatnot, but the book, tremendous. And it's not just a baseball book, by the way. It covers New York in that summer of 1977 when Son of Sam was on the run or on the loose. When they had a blackout in New York City. A lot of things were going on, and this book covers how all these things kind of were going on around each other. It's a really tremendous read if you get a chance. And if you're a Yankee fan or a New York City fan or just a fan of good books, it's a great read. Leafs off to Game 7. As we talked about earlier, they went from getting drummed 6-1 to winning. That win on the road was epic. To go to Florida after getting their asses handed to them, excuse my French, at home was amazing. And maybe the Leafs are ready to break the jinx they've had in the playoffs for I don't know how many decades. Getting to the conference finals would be huge for this team. Bigger than the Knicks getting to the conference finals in the NBA this year. And it would give Canada two teams to have a chance to break their 30-plus year drought of not winning a Stanley Cup. Guys are all over it today. Good stuff. Randall cannot become a black hole again. You know, it's funny. I think Randall gets and again, maybe we're talking about the playoffs or certain situations, but Randall often would lead the Knicks in assists. The ball, before Jalen Brunson, the ball went through. The offense ran through Julius Randle. So he was going to shoot or he was going to pass. I mean, for his Knicks career, I'll bet you he averaged 6.5 or 7 assists. Maybe not average. Maybe close. Let me take a look. Now I got to see. Because I always have refuted this black hole. Now, again, I'll tell you what. There are times that Jalen Brunson turns into a black hole, quite frankly. I love him. But you can't be Carmelo Anthony out there. Great shooter. Going to the Hall of Fame. But there's no more overrated player that I can think of than what's the guy I was talking about? Oh, Carmelo. So he's averaged 4.7 assists for his career. And by the way, his career didn't take off till he got to the Knicks. He was no good with the Lakers. He averaged 9, 10. But even then, had a few assists. So he gets to the Knicks. I'm a little high. He averaged 6 assists, 5 assists, 4 assists, 5 assists, and 5 assists in his. That's 5 assists this year. So he's averaging 5 assists a game. That's not bad for the position he was playing. I mean, he was also averaging 10 rebounds a game. What did he shoot, by the way? Randall was a very good Knick. He helped turn this franchise around. I'm not going to bash him. Everybody seems to turn into a black hole now and again, to use your analogy there, Rick. And by the way, Carmelo was the worst. 100% the worst. Why is my screen flashing? What's going on? Oh, I'll bet you my power cord came out. You guys see my screen flashing? I'm a little concerned here. Let me get this out of here. Get this out of here. Maybe it'll stop now. All right, I guess I stopped it. Might have been that share I had was causing it. Did my screens flash here a little bit or not? There's our guy, John Gonzalez. Best chance they've had of winning a championship since 1994. I agree. That team in 99 and 2000, I think, was just got on a great roll. If you remember that team 25 years ago, they got to the conference final, the last team for the Knicks, and they did go to the finals that year. Just got on a great run. If I'm not mistaken, John, they were 500 in the regular season, or maybe a game over. They had a strike in that season, which really kind of screwed things up. And the Knicks should have won a championship in 94. To this day, when this comes up, I still go, well, why is John Stark still in the game? Maybe the greatest, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the NBA leaves him in there to go 3 for 18, 3 for 17, whatever the hell he was. But this is the best chance, and this is a team that is starting. You get the feel of like teams of destiny. They find ways to win. Boston was better. Boston was deeper. I'm tired of guys, John. You've probably heard it. I'm tired of guys saying, "Well, Tatum got hurt. Porzingis was sick." Porzingis is a nice player. I don't think Porzingis would have made a difference in this series. With Tatum on the floor in game 5, they went from an 11-point deficit to a 7-point lead in about 6 minutes. With Tatum on the floor, scoring 44 points. And I'm going to tell you again that I really believe that Joe Mazzulo's in trouble. New ownership. Apparently he doesn't coach. I can't say the guy's name that got fired for sexual harassment before Mazzulla took over the job. He's in Houston now. What's his name? Abuka? Sorry, I don't want to. People, please don't think I'm racist because I can't pronounce a name that's not Smith and Jones. Please, it's just me. I'm close. It's something like that. He's doing a great job in Houston. I think that championship team was really his team. Joe Mazzulla doesn't make any adjustments except where are we going to throw 3-pointers up from now? Let's move and shoot over here. I don't know. Maybe I'm too hard. The Legion of whom? Jeremy nicknamed the Lion defense as of Thanksgiving, the Legion of whom? That's a good one. Very well done, Jeremy. Good morning again, AC. Pistons, I wouldn't root for the Pacers, and I wouldn't root for the Pacers even if you paid me. I can understand probably why. Do we still have a little malice at the palace hangover, Jeremy? What's that Pacer hate about? Mid-third quarter, Boston was up 23. Yes, not game. Which game? I think they were up 20 in the third quarter in 2 games. First 2 games. I think the Knicks overcoming 20-point deficits that late in the third quarter in the playoffs, back-to-back games was the first time it had ever happened in the history of the NBA. Oh, my friend who took the rebound. Oh, the covers. Oh, my God. I'm sure he's not with us anymore. Shrimpy. He was an interesting guy. Not a bad guy, but, man, I have a bad taste in my mouth from something that happened from at the time I was the president of the Bigelow Weavers. And there was a bad situation there that I had to get involved in when we had to remove him because of some things that went on. I'm not going to get into them. It's not a good situation. Who's out here who won't say hi today? Let me look at a couple names here. Tom Adamczyk, my good friend. How are you? Speak up. Who else is out there? Vinny, say hi. Frank. Frank Laterza. We got to get Frank on. Maybe we should get Frank on for an interview and talk some boxing. At June 1994 was memorable. Rangers actually won the Stanley Cup, first time since 1940. Next to the finals, and OJ driving down the freeway with his Bronco. That game 6, was it game 6? It was a closeout game, right? When the OJ freeway 5-mile-an-hour chase was going on, John. I had to watch the game in a little freaking square atop my TV as this white Bronco was crawling along my screen at 5 miles an hour. I feel like that was a closeout game. The Belmont was not yesterday. The Belmont was is in a couple of weeks up here in Saratoga. Yesterday was the Preakness. The Kentucky Derby winner did not run to concentrate on the Belmont, which is sad because the Preakness didn't have a whole lot of attention. And it was a tremendous race. AC, if you're a horse racing fan, any of you guys are a horse racing fan, you didn't watch this race, go watch the replay. It's one of the best horse races you'll ever see. It's a great call by the track announcer. Oh, just a tremendous race down the stretch. It was one of the. I've seen a lot of bold moves. I remember betting Ferdinand, by the way, in a Derby of 1986 or whatever year it was, with Bill Schumacher on him. And he made a bold move, 50-1. I had a bundle on this horse. I made a bunch of money. Best bet I ever made. And again, there's been a lot of bold moves. You watch this move. He tried to get off the rail and get to the middle of the track when he was by himself, and he had nowhere to go. He went back to the rail. He got himself boxed in, and he comes out, and he splits 2 horses, and they bounced off each other, all 3 of them, which is probably why there was no inquiry there. And maybe there's a quick inquiry. Seward's inquiry. I don't know. I don't believe there was a jockey, making an inquiry. I don't think. And I can't find it in any, because I turned it off. I was doing some stuff and I had to turn it off pretty much after the race, and I was flabbergasted at what I just seen. But it's a great race. If you're a horse racing fan, go watch it. If you're not a horse racing fan, go watch it. You might become one. And by the way, for all you people out there, and I'm sorry, I hope I don't offend you, but if I do, I'm sorry. For you people who think we shouldn't be horse racing, we shouldn't be treating these animals this way, they're bred to do exactly what they do. They want to run. Tragedies happen on the track. We see it all the time. Saratoga season's coming up here very shortly, and we're going to see 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 horses that have to be put down. This is what they want to do. They want to run. They want to compete. They're their blood. I think it'd be less humane not to let them run and compete. Gonna break down. It's sad. It breaks my heart. I still remember Ruffian in the match race against I want to say Bull Forbes when I was a kid. Built up crazy. Ruffian didn't run in it. She was a filly. Didn't run any of the Triple Crown races. But they had this match race set up, and she broke down, and they tried desperately to save her life and couldn't do it. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen. There's a good documentary about her as well. But again, I get where these people come from. I don't think they understand. I don't think they understand everything to do with this sport of kings. I think it's sport of kings. Am I wrong? Horse racing is sport of kings. Last year I picked the Commanders and the Broncos. They were your sleepers? That's a pretty good job out of you. Mine were the Giants and the Bears. How'd I do? Danny Fuller will tell you how I did. Chris, former Grey Cup champion Alexander Graham Bell. No, I'm just kidding. Graham Bell works as a celebrity front for a development group. Now in hot water after marketplace expose on the business. Why is he? He's just a front. Why is he in hot water? Or is it you're talking about the development group? Yeah, well, just just shows you. I guess that doesn't just happen here in the States. We see a lot of that type of malfeasance here because they finally had more than 8 teams as far as going to. They played just one division, right? Maybe they had a division. It was one division, so it was easy. Rebate for car front. Thank you. Everybody's on top of that except me. Sometimes I think, and again, I know it's hard because we get chatting back and forth, and I get behind on the comments, and we're about 20 minutes behind now. So when you post, and I haven't put your post up, don't think I'm ignoring you. We get to them all. But sometimes I think I've had a stroke because something will come up 10 or 15 minutes later, and it's like a one-word answer, and I don't know what we're talking about anymore. So I need you guys to just put a little, you don't have to write a book, but just give me a little reference of what you're going back to. Because again, remember, we're all over the place with topics too. All the Pinks match. Is that in, well, I took it down now. Caleb's an interesting guy. Don't you find it, since we got a North guy here, and I guess I didn't see all that. I didn't see the lipstick. He's an interesting freaking guy, right? You see that there's a book coming out. I guess it's timing for the book is probably fine. But it's weird, now with the Bears having improved, and I think Caleb had a pretty good rookie season. When you just look at numbers, I know we can't just look at numbers. I understand that. First guy to say that. But when you compare the stat sheets, his numbers look very comparable to Jaden Daniels for the regular season, except for wins, which is the only stat that really matters in the NFL. Or it used to. I think style points matter now for quarterbacks. Or maybe they don't. Brock Purdy just got $265 million for 5 years. It shows you where the quarterback market is. $50 million a year. I can't do all the math, but that's 50 plus million a year. But he makes, he's an interesting cat. And in the book, his dad talks about how he did not want Caleb to go to the Bears because that's where quarterbacks go to die. And he's not necessarily wrong. Who was the last great quarterback they had? Jim McMahon was not a great quarterback. He won a Super Bowl, but he was not a great quarterback. Sid Luckman? See the guy? I can't come up with a guy. Chris says 1991 card sets promoted prospects such as Kevin Belcher, Pete Coachman, Matt Stark. I remember that name. But not a lick of notice went to a young Travis Fryman who turned out to be a very, very good player. Very good player, Travis Fryman. Good defensive player. Decent bat. Underrated. Not a superstar, but a competent player. He's a guy I would have liked to have seen play on better teams, quite frankly. If they want to fix racing, make it the big three. Make them a month to 6 weeks apart. Would add more TV interest. Well, they are 6. Oh, you mean between each race? See, part of the Triple Crown appeal. See, I get where you're coming, because you could build up suspense. They've done things. They added a bonus for winning the Triple Crown now to give, but there's so much money now in racing. The bonus, I think it's still $1 million bonus. I'm not sure. Maybe it's more. So to give you some incentive to run in that Preakness and not skip any of these races. But I think to space it out, what you're talking about would be at least 3 months. Takes away from what the challenge really is. And that's to win 3 marquee races in the space of 6 weeks. That's part of the big challenge of winning the Triple Crown. Not doing it over a 6 month or 3 month, 3 to 6 month time frame, Jeremy. I get where you're going because you'd be able to add and build interest, but I think there's plenty of interest in the Preakness as well when the Kentucky Derby winner runs. While there's still a Triple Crown in place, I think there's plenty of interest. It's when there is no Triple Crown at stake, which now there isn't. It'll hurt the Belmont. Hurt the Belmont a little bit. It won't hurt attendance-wise because people are going to go crazy for it like they did last year in Saratoga. I do think, I can't remember if there was a Triple Crown at stake last year or not. And I do think this could be the last year the Belmont's at Saratoga. It'll go back to Belmont next year, I think. The rehab of the updating of the track will be complete, I think, next year. I get what you're saying, but again, to me, it would take away from the mystique. And also, when you had a Triple Crown winner, I think, they would not have completed the same daunting task that the previous Triple Crown winners would have had, winning these 3 races in a 6-week span, which is why it's so hard. I'll never forget 12-year-old me watching Secretariat run away in the Belmont. You want to watch a great call to a race? And then you wouldn't think a race that was won by about 40 lengths would be exciting. But watch that 72 Belmont and the race call, and you see what a tremendous machine, which is the exact wording the track announcer uses, Secretariat was. Secretariat died. When they took out, they often will take out and buried like the hoofs and the heart. He had a heart that was like twice the size of a normal racehorse. Freaked us yesterday at the Belmont. Belmont in 2 weeks. Horse racing. No, I get it. That one I got. I don't know what else we could have been talking about there, actually. Caleb Williams fashion shows. I got to pick up my speed here if I'm going to get we got a lot of comments to get to if I'm going to be able to share the show. We might go a few minutes long if we don't catch up here, because I don't like to leave comments undone. So we're going to go a little faster here. A manager uses a relief pitcher like a 6-shooter. He fires until it's empty and then takes the gun away and throws it at the villain, says the late Dan Quisenberry. That was done that way. In those days, that's the way it was done. Now, it's just a different game. That's the game I loved right there. First weekend in May for the Derby. Next to Preakness mid-June. Then you see that. How is that, though, the same challenge that they have now? You got to nobody. You don't normally run horses every 2 weeks. You do for this series because that's the challenge. I don't know that would bring that much. I don't know. I guarantee you, here's the thing. When you didn't have a Triple Crown at stake, like they might have skipped the Preakness, or the Derby winner loses the Preakness, by Belmont, nobody would care. It'd be worse. That's just my opinion. That was the summer. 1977 was the summer of Son of Sam, and it's a big part of the book, The Bronx is Burning, is that manhunt for David Berkowitz, who's still in prison, obviously, and scared the wits out of every young couple in New York at that time. But it's a big part of that book, yes. Huge part of it. Like a third of the book, maybe more, is about the cops chasing down David Berkowitz as well. Great book. I encourage everybody if you're a fan of reading, or you're a baseball fan, or even a fan of serial killers, read the book. Former NHL enforcer Sean Avery announces he's writing a sexy and addictive romance. Oh, Chris, you're bringing it, man. You are bringing it today. He was a Ranger for a time. Brunson's become one of the greatest Knicks of all time. I would have to agree. Certainly, I'll tell you what, at clutch time, he might be top 3. He might be top 2. I mean, this is a bit of blasphemy probably, but I think he's more clutch than Patrick Ewing. He's a clutch player. I just don't like sometimes, John, that, and this happens, during the middle of games, and then maybe it's not a big deal. Sometimes that's at the end of games, but he's clutch, so you got to get him the ball. But sometimes, again, it's like a black hole. The ball goes in and never comes out. But I love Brunson, his role. But Brunson's got to play better and more consistent in this Pacers series if they're going to get past the Pacers like they did not last year. He was, as well as the Knicks did in beating the Celtics, Brunson was fairly inconsistent, except at the end of games when it matters, which is, again, the most important thing. But I agree with you. How does his name not come up in MVP discussions is beyond my comprehension. Congratulations that Brunson in the playoffs finally figured out how not to average 3.2 points a game with Cade on the floor like the regular season. Cade killed him. I talked about that before the Detroit series, Jeremy, that the Knicks had to find a way not to get blown out of the building by Cade Cunningham alone. He just ate their lunch during the regular season. He was great. And Jalen didn't play well. But at the end of the day, 94 John Starks, 6th man of the year. He might have been, but he wasn't in game 6. I can tell you that. John, you could probably answer that question better than I can. But, Bradley left him out there to just, God, freaking blow up every chance the Knicks had to win that series. Rolando Blackman should have been in there instead of Starks on that night. Well, not maybe at the start. I mean, Starks had played well that year. And again, Jeremy might be right. He might have been 6th man of the year. I don't know. But I always thought, John, that they did not use Rolando Blackman enough for the entire time they had him. I was a big Blackman fan. I was so happy when they got him. He was a star in Dallas. And I remember him going all the way back to Kansas State. He was a great college basketball player. And I never thought they used him correctly. AC loves Joe Mazzulla, but I hope they fire Joe and get the coach, the Nuggets, fired. Listen, Michael Malone, excuse me. We can't call him Michael. Mike, he doesn't like it. Michael Malone he'll be getting a job next year, without a doubt. Joe Mazzulla is probably going to get fired because they got brand new ownership. And I think this team's window's done. I think they got a lot of cap issues, a lot of guys who got to get paid, a lot of guys who are getting paid a lot now that they might have to move. I think Joe Mazzulla is potentially on the clock right now. Plus the fact I don't think he's a great coach. I didn't see any adjustments. Nope. Just keep throwing up 53 pointers. I know that's their game, but when your game is not on, you got to figure out plan B. They never had a plan B. In football talk, it's going to feel weird when we don't even mention Joe Flacco anymore. Just the name itself stands hand in hand with any football talk. I'm not so sure it stands hand in hand with any football talk. But Joe Flacco's been around a long time, and Joe Flacco's name just doesn't want to disappear. It's like he's like it's like a bad penny. He just keeps popping up. When I think of Joe Flacco, I don't think about much except him getting off the couch and going and taking the Browns to the playoffs. That's about all I think about. He's not one of the great quarterbacks of all time. I remember one time some idiot had posted on Facebook, I think after they won a Super Bowl, that Joe Flacco was on the same level as Tom Brady. And I never laughed so hard in my entire life. He's had a nice career. He's not Tom Brady. John says Missoula is an awful coach. Doesn't know how to run any play. They don't run any plays. Right. They make no adjustments. The only adjustments they make are, where to take the 3-pointers from, I think. Jack this morning was talking about how, he made a great adjustment putting Horford in the game for whoever in game 5. And I'm like, well, so what? Everybody's got to make substitutions. Show me what adjustments he made ever in this series. Ask Frank if Jack was boxing in 1945 when the NFL was in 2 divisions. Rick, let's turn into Glove Fist Monday night and find out the answer to that question. Hello, man. How are you, my friend? Good to have you. The San Diego contingent shows up with 8 minutes left in the game here. Good to have you, though. I said 1977. Oh, I think he was talking about 77, John, I believe. Because I mentioned 77 earlier. Maybe, I don't know if you were here yet or not. We were talking about Reggie, and I was talking about the Bronx is burning, and I mentioned, I think that's what he was talking about. Hakeem Olajuwon, the most talented and best all-around center, deserved that NBA championship and MVP. Listen, that was a great team. I'm not saying they didn't. And I'm not surprised you have that opinion either, CA. By the way, we got to figure out the fantasy football and make sure that we have guys that are playing this year. I'm sure we got new guys hanging out. I'm sure we can get some new guys in, but the Mad New Yorkers got to get dropped. Sorry, Carlos. I think some of those guys never even drafted and certainly didn't participate. So I think probably starting anew and sending out a fresh link when we get to that point would be good. I'll just throw that out there now. But listen, that Houston team is a great team. I'm not taking anything away from that championship. I'm just saying the Knicks had a chance to win. We're talking about they had their best chance to win at that point. It had been 21 years since they won a championship. Now it's been 52. That was a great team. The Knicks had a chance to win that championship. That was their best chance in the last 52 years. That's John's point. Not to speak for you, John. I drew a jockey who said the real cruelty to horses is the Amish who drive the horses on the road. There you go. Nobody speaks out about that. We speak out about racing. My sleeper this year is the Jaguars. I don't think they can win it all, but they have a better and healthier. They got better. They got a better defensive line. They had a great pick in Hunter who's going to get used on both sides of the football. Not 100% on offense. Don't get excited. Jaguars could surprise this year. I'm not going to make any bold predictions today. I mean, anything I say today, take with a grain of salt because it's going to sound different in August. I got to see these guys in mini camp. I got to see these guys in training camp. You played for the Cubs, Indians, Padres, Blue Jays, Orioles, and Giants. I put up similar numbers to Hall of Famer Jim Rice. Who am I? Good question. Cubs in Cleveland. Don't go away without putting the answer up, by the way. That's a great answer, Rick. Carlos. It's not Carlos. Oh my God. Who is it? Make sure you put the answer up like now. I'm not going to scroll ahead and find out. Padres, Blue Jays, Orioles, Giants. George Bell. Boy, that's a great one. Cubs. Is this an order, by the way? Andre Dawson didn't play for all his teams. I'm trying to think of it, Chris. That's a great answer, Rick. I love that. Thank you for that. I do the best job I can. We fall behind a little bit, like we're behind a little bit now, and we may not make it off the air at 10:30. We will have to say goodbye to the Roku audience at least. And if we can't share the show at midnight, we can't share. It's not the big deal. Purdy got the API or APY DS Jared Goff. Average pay your DS. Listen, I can't. You know me. I'm a big believer that you're worth whatever somebody's willing to pay you. Now you got to go earn it. So go earn it, Purdy, and I'll change my mind. I'm probably not paying Brock Purdy $50 million a year. I'm probably not paying my quarterback $50 million a year because then you end up with injuries and you are weak somewhere. Usually it's in the trenches. Mark Esser, a former White Sox pitcher from Wappinger Falls, New York, has passed away. Oh, sorry to hear that. I know that name, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. I know Wappinger Falls very well, and I do remember the name. So our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Mark, if he was John, if he was a friend of yours, we certainly send them to you as well. The Bears have never had a great quarterback. Jay Cutler sucked. Cutler was terrible. He didn't even act like he wanted to be out there. I think Sid Luckman played for the Bears. We're going back to JB's 40s reference. He'd be the only guy I would say. That was the most exciting I've seen. Listen, the Bears' offense was pretty good in 80. It's their defense that won the Super Bowl for them in 85. But they had some players on offense. Cabrera, that was an awful injury. I like Cabrera a lot. And I would have probably, he was hitting okay against righties. He would have sat against lefties with DJ back. He was sitting against most lefties anyway. I'd like Cabrera better when he's playing around the field rather than at one position because he's more valuable that way. But now he's out for the year, and who knows how he recovers from this injury. Hopefully DJ is, if DJ can stay anywhere as close to what I've seen for 2 days, and it's not just him hitting a homer yesterday and making a great defensive play. He looks healthier than I've seen him since his first year with the Yankees. But it does suck for Cabrera for sure. Absolutely. Rest in peace. Thank you, Jeremy. New York Islanders are the last to win 4 in a row. Furthermore, unless your family traveled, was the beginning of most folks in the South seeing hockey on TV, meaning watching the game. Agreed. Without a doubt. It's funny. I never thought hockey would make it in Florida, let's say, or Texas. Huge. Bill Palmer's with us today. How are you? Descendants of Secretariat, the greatest horse ever. Every horse that ran in the 151st Kentucky Derby in 25 was a descendant of Secretariat. Is that a true thing? Yeah, we're over now, so I don't care about Gold Light. We're not going to be able to get this show, unless I stop in the next 45 seconds. I'm not going to worry about it because I do not like leaving your guys. We're going to go an extra 10 or 15 minutes, not long. Because now Billy's got me wanting to look this up. Is that right? Forgive me for fact checking you, but it's something we have to do. I know you do some fact checking on Facebook yourself. And on Facebook, Billy. I'm not spelling this correctly, so hopefully Google knows what I want. It's interesting to note that every horse in the Kentucky Derby is a descendant of the legendary Secretariat. I can't believe that. I mean, we wouldn't be able to follow the legacy. I mean, it's got to be huge if we were to follow the lineage, right? I think it would take us an hour to go through it here. That's great. Danny was here earlier and then he popped off. He is the man. He is the myth. He is the legend. I started grilling him on Otani and he went away. Good morning, Billy. How are you? Good to have you. I'm assuming you're in the 518 today. Don't worry about my commitments. What? I got to go. Oh, I think you mean comments. Got to go get some food anyway and have a great day, Keith. Great show today. Thank you, JC. And I always put all the comments up. You don't need to worry about that. That way the winners get the rest and a better chance. I get it. Now, I get where you're coming from. But again, I think it would be a diminished achievement based on what every other Triple Crown winner had ever done. And I'm not good with change. We'll find out. As you know from watching my shows, I'm not great with change. Most of the change we make in sports is not for the better. It's for the sake of making change or for the sake of not improving something else. But anyway, it's an interesting thought, Jeremy. Clarify, I've never seen a game of hockey at any level. Ever seen a hockey game at any level. I agree. I mean, you think the people in Florida were watching, northern teams play hockey? Well, maybe they were. Maybe that's why they got teams. I don't know. I just never thought it would fly in say Florida and Texas specifically. Yes, he was. 1977 was quite a summer. New York City, the blackout, 44 caliber killer, the Bronx Zoo Yankees, which is why I said, John, and you've probably read the book, and if you haven't, you should as a good New Yorker. The Bronx is Burning is one of the best books you'll ever read. I'm telling you. Not just a sports book. It's a great sports book. But it's really an almanac of everything that happened in New York City in 1977. I think it might even have talking about the mayoral race as well. So just a great book. Do I have something there? Oh, here's another thing. Many watching your race yesterday don't know. Big Red was. I don't know if it was yesterday too. Billy just talked about how it was every horse in the Derby. Let's find out. I'm gonna. Well, since I fact checked, I gotta fact check you, CA, only because I fact checked Billy. All horses running in the Preakness are descendants of legendary Secretariat. So that would be very interesting if the Belmont, the same result. And every horse that ran for the Triple Crown this year was a direct descendant of Secretariat. The greatest horse that ever lived. Heart was 2 sizes bigger than the average horse. Amazing. Joe Flacco takes his Viagra and comes off the couch and wins. Joe Flaccid. Sorry, I didn't even catch that part, Jeremy. Thank you. Joe Flaccid is closer to Eli Manning. He's yes. And Eli's got 2 Super Bowls. I laughed. Paul's into the this is the fantasy stuff, I'm sure. You guys were in last year, I think. Thank you for getting in. CA, we'll talk more about it. I just want to make sure that we don't have the guys that weren't participating last year, because it's really not fair to the league, to anybody in the league, to have dead teams in there. Joe Carter, I don't know if Joe Carter played for the Orioles, though. It is Joe Carter. Touch them all. Great job. Matt, you win a prize. Chris, send him his prize. That is a great trivia question. Joe Carter, very underrated player in his time. Played well with all those teams. I don't remember with Baltimore, so I won't comment that one. I don't think I would have got there because of the Baltimore connection. I remember him with every one of those other teams. Best quarterback the Bears ever had was Eric Kramer. Well, if we're just looking at yards, I don't know if we can look at that. I mean, I'm going to say as much as I don't think McMahon was a great quarterback, I think he's better than Eric Kramer. But didn't Sid Luckman? Sid Luckman's in the Hall of Fame. Bears QB history. I'm extending this show along today, aren't I? List of Bears starting quarterbacks. Park Pierce, Johnny Bryan, Sid Luckman. And again, remember the game was different then. He played 12 seasons with the Bears. He led them to 4 NFL championships. Sid Luckman has got to be the greatest Bear of all time. Johnny Lujack was a pretty good player. Better in college, though. George Blanda played quarterback there. Billy Wade. Bobby Douglas. Don't forget Bobby Douglas ran for 900 yards and sucked at every other part of the game. Bob Avellini, terrible. Mike Phipps, Vince Evans, McMahon. Harbaugh. Eric Kramer, 1 year. Dave Craig, Jim Miller, Cade McNown. Jake Cutler was there longer than I thought. I will still hold to my Sid Luckman. Facts, Bill. About the racing. That is amazing, by the way. I did not know that. I didn't have the sound on until the race came on. So they probably talked about that on the broadcast, and I didn't catch it at all. That's an amazing thing. And if it happens in a Belmont, I guarantee you, it's probably never happened in any race ever before the Derby. Yeah, don't worry. It's not. I don't think you have to rush CA. I just want to make sure. I know you and I talked about it last year, and we probably had at least 4 teams that weren't participating last year. Because you remember the year before, we had a guy jump in that none of us even knew. Kind of late. So just want to make sure we touch on that. Good job, though. Jeremy says, considering that Florida was 65% Michigan GM retired until 2000, Redwind's viewership was huge. That's a great point. I admit when I'm wrong. That's a great point. Again, if there weren't, as I thought about this, and certainly this plays it out, if there weren't people watching hockey in Florida, they never would have got teams, right? So the same thing with Texas and wherever there are teams. So the Brox's Burning was a mini series on ESPN. You can watch it. I watched it on YouTube. I just rewatched it not long ago. It's like 8 episodes. Something like that. 6, 7, 8 episodes. It was good. I thought that writing and the acting was not good. John Turturro plays Billy Martin, and they make his ears look like he's Dumbo. The guy who played Reggie was awful. But anyway, the book is so much better. But you can watch the miniseries. It gives you the gist of it. They don't get into a lot of the other stuff outside of the baseball stuff in the miniseries. So you read the book, you really get a feel for everything that was going on in New York City at that time. David Berkowitz, Son of Sam. I think some of the political races I said, the blackout, which they did touch on a little bit in the miniseries, but not the way they. But Berkowitz thing more than any of the other stuff for sure. But just a great book. In my lifetime. Let's see where that goes to. Oh, in your lifetime with Eric Kramer? So you take a question I had back 80 years. And now you're in your lifetime. Sid Luckman was in my lifetime. Let's check with Jack on glove fist on Sid at quarterback. He's almost my lifetime. That's scary when you think about it. Because Sid Luckman played in the 50s, right? What'd I say? 40s. I mean, his last year, I was only 12 years before I was born. That feels like I'm old now. All right, guys. Great job today. We went a little long, but that's okay. We're going to do that from time to time. We got other stuff we can share at the midnight hour. So you guys have a great, great weekend. I appreciate all you guys. I can't name you all. This show is always my favorite of the week because of you guys, because of the stuff you bring to the table, the things we agree on, the things we don't. I just love it. I love it. Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talks Sunday Stream of Conscious. Thank you, guys. We'll be back. I think we'll be back Wednesday for a college football huddle. We might take a week off. We'll see how it goes, and we'll go from there. See you later, Matt. Have a great one. Guys, see all of you later. Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talk. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now, with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel.